Those office temperatures and how well you work in them might actually depend on your gender. That's what this new study says in PLOS One after they reviewed men and women and they tested them at different temperatures. The results show that women do have an argument for turning up the thermostat, guys. It turns out that when you compare men versus women, women actually perform better when the temperatures are higher. Specialists at the Cleveland Clinic reviewed this study and supplied this video. Researchers looked at more than 500 men and women. They tested both genders in math, verbal, and cognitive reasoning in rooms with varying temperatures. When it came to math and verbal test performance, women scored significantly better at higher temperatures than at cooler ones. Men did have a slightly lower performance rate at higher temperatures, but the difference was not significant enough to say that it had an impact. Those reviewing this study say ambient temperatures in offices were set decades ago, and they were likely based on the metabolic rate of about a 40-year-old man who weighs about 150 pounds. But modern workplaces are much more diverse. Until thermostats go up, it's suggested if you feel cold, it may be beneficial to dress in layers. A cold workspace is also a good excuse to get up and move a little more, and the movement can also help circulation. And of course, we've tried all that, and we're still freezing.
Yes.
No, so this is interesting. They said there's a couple things to pay attention to. Heat cycle, you know what I mean? Like in some buildings, it'll get hotter at certain times, you know, so you can ask the engineers about that.
Yeah.
If you've tried the layer thing and they say that's not working, they actually do suggest that you ask about medical problems. And I will be the first to admit that I've had low iron at times, and that will make you chillier. But otherwise, I think we're going to be battling about this until we base the thermostat on the average worker.
Yes, yes, I agree.
Which no longer is the,
you hang with us really well, as Erica and I and Liz all complain, and you hang in there. There's a point at which you're like, guys, I'm wearing a jacket, you know, but it's a battle.
But I also think that that's, you know, it's gotten more acceptable for women to wear little sleeves, and guys are still in that attire.
So that's different too. It makes it.
So anytime you want to wear those, you know, break out the t-shirt thing.
Just wear a short sleeve t-shirt will all be good.
If we were doing that, we'd have no problems, right?
There we go. So we don't have a temperature problem. We have a dress code problem.
I like that. We've turned it around.
There you go.
I thought this was fascinating that they actually studied it and could trace performance to temperature. Because I do feel like sometimes I can't concentrate on anything else.
I agree.
It is so cold. And it's true in your car with your spouse. It's true in your house as well. Have pity, guys. All right, back at 5:30, we're going to talk to you about a 12-minute boot camp that'll get you in shape.
I saw your tweet about this. You're looking active.
I was working.
All right,
Not as hard as they were, though.
All right.